Picture this. You get your credit card statement. The balance is $3,700. You look at the minimum payment due, and it says $111. You think to yourself, okay, that's manageable. I can do $111 this month. You pay it. You feel responsible. You feel like you're handling your finances. You're not defaulting. You're making your payments on time. Your credit score is probably even going up. Here's the thing. What you just did might be one of the most expensive financial decisions you will ever make in your entire life. And the worst part? The credit card company is counting on you to think exactly the way you just thought. My name is Mamun, and I spend way too much time thinking about how credit card companies are systematically extracting wealth from ordinary people using perfectly legal psychological manipulation. If you're someone who has ever looked at a credit card statement and thought, well, at least I'm making the minimum payment, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Because what I'm about to show you is going to fundamentally change how you think about credit card debt. The illusion of affordability. Look, I need you to understand something right from the start. The minimum payment is not designed to help you pay off your debt. It is specifically engineered to keep you in debt for as long as possible while extracting the maximum amount of money from you. That is not an exaggeration. That is not conspiracy thinking. That is literally the business model. Let me show you exactly what I mean with real numbers, because this is where it gets absolutely insane. Let's go back to that $3,700 balance we talked about. Let's say your interest rate is 19.99%, which, according to a 2024 Federal Reserve report, is pretty much the average APR for credit cards carrying a balance in the United States right now.
This chart shows how
your minimum payment is
payments
calculated as either a flat percentage of your balance, usually around 2 to 3%, or a fixed dollar amount plus interest, whichever is greater. So you make that $111 minimum payment every single month. You feel good about it. You're being responsible. You're not missing payments. Here's what most people don't realize. At that rate, paying just the minimum, it will take you approximately 17 years to pay off that debt. 17 years. And you won't pay $3,700. You will pay $7,365. You will pay nearly double the original amount. Think about that. You essentially bought everything on that card twice. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Mamun, that's bad, but at least I'm getting it paid off eventually, right? Wrong. Because here's what actually happens in real life. Most people don't stop using the card. They keep adding to the balance. They have another emergency. They need to fix their car. They have a medical bill. They take their family out to dinner because it's someone's birthday and they can't say no. The balance doesn't go down, it goes up. And that 17 years becomes 25 years, or 30 years, or never.
Can I afford $111 right now? This is going to be a real nightmare. This better work. Oh no! The minimum payment is designed to fail me! According to the Federal Reserve, the average credit card debt for households is $6,501. Remember, no new charges on your balance transfer card. Today, I present the psychological shift.
Now, I know what some of you are thinking right now. But Mamun, I needed that credit card for emergencies. I didn't have a choice. Life happened. Look, I'm not here to judge anyone's circumstances. Emergencies are real. Medical bills are real. Job loss is real. I get it. But here's what I want you to understand. The credit card industry has successfully convinced Americans that credit card debt is a normal, acceptable tool for handling emergencies. It's not. It's the most expensive emergency fund you could possibly have. According to a 2023 Bankrate survey, only 44% of Americans could cover a $1,000 emergency expense from their savings. That means 56% of Americans would need to use a credit card, take out a loan, or couldn't cover it at all.
Whoa,
that is
check
not
it
a
out.
personal
This bar
failure.
graph shows
That is a
Americans are
systemic
spending
failure
more
of
on
financial
interest than
education
groceries.
and wage stagnation in this country. But here's the thing. Once you're in the minimum payment trap, you're not preparing for the next emergency. You're still paying for the last emergency. And when the next emergency hits, and it will, you don't have room on your credit card anymore. Or you pile on more debt, or you're trapped in a cycle where you're perpetually behind. The credit card companies know this too. They know that once you're making minimum payments, the likelihood of you adding to your balance is extremely high. They've got decades of data on this. They know that someone making minimum payments is significantly more likely to carry that balance for years, to pay late fees, to go over their limit, and to generate enormous profit for the company. A 2018 report from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau found that approximately
I'd like to negotiate a
83%
lower
of credit card company
APR on my
profits come
account.
from interest and fees charged to
Great
customers
news,
who
everyone!
carry balances.
The success meter shows 76%
The entire
approval for
business
interest
model
rate
is built on
reductions.
keeping you in debt. Let me tell you something that's going to make you angry, and it should make you angry. Credit card companies have teams of PhD economists, data scientists, and behavioral psychologists whose entire job is to figure out the exact minimum payment structure that keeps you in debt the longest while minimizing your likelihood of default. They run sophisticated models. They A/B test different statement designs.
Remember,
they analyze millions of
need
data
to
points
plug
to
the
optimize
leaks
their profit
first.
extraction from your debt. The minimum payment is set at the sweet spot, where it feels affordable enough that you'll keep paying, but low enough that you barely make progress on the principal. It's like they've designed a maze where every path leads you deeper in, and the exit keeps moving further away. Here's a specific example of how insidious this is. Some credit card companies now use a minimum payment calculation that adjusts based on your
is the
balance.
credit card
When your
with
balance
the
is high,
highest
the minimum payment might be
APR.
3%. But as your balance decreases, the minimum payment
This
percentage
is the
drops to
credit
2%
card with
or
the
even lower.
highest
Why?
APR.
Because they want to slow down your repayment as you get closer to paying it off. They want to stretch out those interest payments for as long as possible. They're literally changing the rules to keep you trapped longer. And here's another thing that makes me furious. Credit card companies are required by law, thanks to the Credit Card Act of 2009, to show you on your statement how long it will take to pay off your balance if you only make minimum payments.
The interest
They have to show you the
shrinks
total
each
amount
month
you'll
with
pay.
increased
They have to give
payments.
you this information. But here's what they also do. They bury that information in tiny print at the bottom of your statement or on the back page. They use complicated language. They don't make it visually prominent. Because they're complying with the law, but they're doing the absolute minimum to comply. They don't actually want you to notice or understand that information. If you did, you might make a different decision. And that different decision would cost them billions of dollars in lost interest revenue. Here's what most people don't realize. Every financial decision you make has an opportunity cost. When you pay the minimum on your credit card, you're not just paying interest. You're giving up everything else that money could have done for you. Let's talk about what that really means in your life. That $111 per month you're paying for 17 years,
That's not just $7,365. That's also the down payment on a house you couldn't save for. That's the emergency fund you never built. That's the retirement account you didn't start. That's the career change you couldn't make because you couldn't afford to take 3 months off to retrain. That's the business you didn't start because you didn't have the capital. The minimum payment trap doesn't just cost you money. It costs you options. It costs you opportunities. It costs you freedom. I want you to think about your life right now. Think about the things you want to do but feel like you can't afford. Travel, go back to school, start a business, work less, retire someday, spend more time with your kids. Whatever it is, now I want you to understand that carrying credit card debt and making minimum payments is the single biggest obstacle between you and those goals. According to the Federal Reserve, the average American household with credit card debt carries approximately $6,501 in revolving credit card balances. At minimum payments, that's roughly $200,000 that the average American family will pay in credit card interest over their lifetime. $200,000. That's a house in many parts of the country. That's a comfortable retirement. That's generational wealth you could pass on to your children. Gone, evaporated, paid to credit card companies for the privilege of spending money you didn't have on things you probably don't remember. Okay, so here's where we shift, because look, I can spend all day explaining how bad this problem is, but what matters is what you do about it. And I'm going to give you a specific, actionable plan to break free from the minimum payment trap. Step 1, and this is crucial, you have to stop making the problem worse. That means you cannot add any new charges to cards you're trying to pay off. I know that sounds obvious, but according to a 2024 study from the National Foundation for Credit Counseling, 67% of people who are making minimum payments on their credit cards continue to add new charges to those same cards. You cannot dig yourself out of a hole while you're still digging.
Just like
Stop
that,
using the
late
card.
fees are eliminated.
Step 2, you need to do the math
Good
on your
habits
actual
form.
situation. Go get your credit card statements right now, all of them. Look at each balance, each interest rate, and each minimum payment. Then go to a credit card payoff calculator online. There's dozens of free ones. Input your real numbers. Look at how long it will take to pay off your debt at minimum payments. Look at the total interest you'll pay. I need you to see those numbers with your own eyes, because seeing it makes it real in a way that hearing me talk about it doesn't. Step 3, pay more than the minimum. Even a little bit more makes a massive difference. Let me show you what I mean with our example. If instead of paying $111 per month on that $3,700 balance, you paid $150 per month, just $39 more, you would pay off the debt in 3.5 years instead of 17 years. 3.5 years, and you would pay a total of $4,900 instead of $7,365. That extra $39 per month saves you $2,465 and 13.5 years of your life. Every single extra dollar you pay goes directly to the principal. It doesn't get eaten by interest first. That's the magic. Once you understand that, you realize that paying even $20 extra per month is worth it. $50 extra is worth it. Whatever you can find is worth it. Step 4, use the debt avalanche or debt snowball method if you have multiple credit cards. The debt avalanche method means you pay minimum payments on all cards except the one with the highest interest rate. On that high interest card, you throw every extra dollar you have. Once that card is paid off, you take that entire payment amount and apply it to the next highest interest rate card. The snowball method is the same concept, but you start with the smallest balance instead of the highest interest rate. The snowball method is psychologically easier for most people because you get quick wins, but the avalanche method saves you more money mathematically. Step 5. Consider a balance transfer if you qualify. Some credit cards offer 0% APR balance transfer promotions for 12 to 18 months. If you can transfer your high-interest balance to a 0% card and pay it off during that promotional period, you can save thousands in interest. But you have to be disciplined. You have to pay it off before the promotional rate ends, or you'll be right back where you started. And you absolutely cannot add new charges to the card. And step 6, and this is important, automate your payments for more than the minimum. Don't rely on willpower, don't rely on remembering. Set up automatic payments from your checking account for a specific amount above the minimum. Maybe it's $20 above, maybe it's $50, maybe it's $100. Whatever you can afford, automate it. Remove the decision from your monthly routine. You will not miss that money consciously, but it will make an enormous difference over time. Now here's the thing. All the tactics in the world don't matter if you don't make a fundamental psychological shift in how you think about credit card debt. You have to stop thinking of the minimum payment as success. Making the minimum payment is not being responsible. It's not handling your finances. It's falling into a carefully designed trap. The minimum payment is the bare minimum the credit card company will accept before they start penalizing you. That's it. It's not a goal. It's a warning sign. You also have to stop thinking of your credit card as money. It's not money. It's debt. Every time you swipe that card, you're taking out a loan with a 19.99% interest rate. You wouldn't walk into a bank and say, "Hey, can I borrow $20 to buy lunch and I'll pay you $24 next month?" That would feel insane. But that's exactly what you're doing when you carry a balance on your credit card. Here's another psychological shift that matters. You have to get angry. You have to get angry at the system that set this trap. You have to get angry at the decades of wage stagnation that made credit cards feel necessary. You have to get angry at the predatory lending practices. You have to get angry at the lack of financial education in our schools. But then you have to channel that anger into action. Use that anger as fuel. Every time you want to make just the minimum payment because you're tired, or it's been a long day, or you just don't want to think about it, I want you to remember that there's a credit card company executive somewhere who is counting on you to make exactly